Hi, welcome to Dean's Kitchen. My name is Siobhan Ingram and this morning I'm going to be showing you a very simple recipe for a very tasty fruit loaf. Very simple, very straightforward, and not only that, it's low fat as well, so that's always a good thing when it comes to baked recipes. So just quickly to talk you through what we've got in the bowl so far. In the bowl here we have the dried fruit, which has already been weighed out, and it's been soaked overnight in very hot tea, along with the sugar in the recipe as well. So that's the three ingredients that are in the bowl here. So as you can see, the fruit is nice and plumped up because it's been soaking in the tea, nice hot tea overnight. The sugar's dissolved and it's ready for the rest of the ingredients to go in. Now I said this recipe was nice and healthy, and it is, because we're not going to be adding actually any fat to this recipe at all. The only sort of traces of fat, if you like, in the recipe are in the small amount of egg that we're going to add, but there's no butter or oil or whatever, so in terms of calories and fat content, very low, so that's a good thing. Okay, so soaked fruit with our tea and our sugar, and into that we're going to add the egg first, so we'll just pop that in, just lightly beaten. Okay, so that goes in next, and just mix that through, and then into that we're going to add self-raising flour. As you can see, very simple recipe. That's pretty much all the ingredients. Now we've used a mix of dried fruits, raisins, sultanas, currants, a little bit of peel in there. But if you want to mix it up a little bit and vary the mix of fruit with things like cranberries or whatever, some chopped up prunes or dates, that works very well, just whatever. As long as you stick to the right weight, you can mix up the variety of fruits you're using, just whatever you've got or whatever you prefer. And likewise, we've just soaked this in a strong breakfast tea, just a regular tea. But again, if you want to use an Earl Grey tea or a fruit flavoured tea, that works perfectly well as well. So just really whatever you want, you can make the recipe your own and just tailor it to suit your particular tastes, okay? The other thing you can add as well, if you so wish, you can add some mixed spices if you want to spice it up a little bit of cinnamon or ginger, something like that would be good. And you can also vary the sugars. We've just used regular white sugar, but if you wanted to use some dark brown sugar to give it a darker, more treacly sort of flavour, that would be okay as well. So really just whatever you fancy. Now as you can see, that's mixed up together really nicely. That's all the egg and flour mixed in. Make sure you've got all the little bits of flour mixed through, that there's no pockets of dry flour left in it. And that's it, ready to bake. Very, very simple. So what we've got now is a prepared tin. This is a £2 loaf tin, and we've got one of these ready-made liners in there just to stop it from sticking. Makes the job of getting out of the tin a lot easier. If you haven't got a ready-made liner, just cut some greaseproof paper to suit and make sure the tin's nicely lined. And then all you do is pop your mix into the tin like so. Try to avoid getting it all over the edges, is a good idea. So just pop it in gently, and then once it's all in, you can just level the top. Like so. There we are. Just get it all out. And then just help it into the corners, smooth it out a little bit just to make sure the tin's nice and full. And that's it. As I say, very, very simple, very straightforward. And I've got the oven already preheated. So what I'm going to do now is just pop that in the oven until it's nice and risen and golden brown, about an hour and a quarter thereabouts to bake through. And then once it's baked, we'll take it out and let you have a look at it. Okay, right, our lovely tea loaf is now smelling absolutely delicious. It's been in the oven for nearly an hour at about 170 degrees. So I'm going to take it out and see what it looks like. Right, here we go. Looks delicious. Lovely and risen and golden brown. Smells beautiful. It just needs now to sit and cool, and it'll be ready for us to enjoy. Okay, so here we are. We have our tea loaf, cooled, baked and cooled, and ready to serve. This is, as we're calling it, a traditional tea loaf, but in Ireland they have something very similar called barn brack, it's called in Ireland, and sometimes that's got a yeast added to it, but it's similar in that it's a fruit bread with tea. And also they have something very similar in Wales called bara brith, which again is a fruit bread with tea added, sometimes has yeast, sometimes doesn't. So it's a very traditional, very old-fashioned recipe, but as you can see, very, very straightforward and simple to make. So what I'm going to do now is take off the paper and show you what it's like cut. So I've got a nice sharp bread knife, which makes a great job of cutting through it. So you just cut it into slices like so. And if you're continuing the very healthy low-fat theme that I mentioned at the start, you just have it like this. Or if you want to just make it a little bit more luxurious, you can spread it with a little bit of butter, which is really, really tasty as well. Now, because obviously it's got a very low fat content, it doesn't keep terribly well, so it needs to be eaten whilst it's nice and fresh. If you do want to keep it, slice it up and pop it in the freezer, and then you can take it out a slice at a time, and that works very well as well. But it's a lovely treat for afternoon tea, and as I say, a little bit healthier than some of the home bakes that we often do. So we hope you can try the recipe at home. We hope you enjoy it. As I say, it's very simple to make. If you do try it, let us know. We always like to see your photographs. If you want to share them on our Facebook or Twitter pages, that would be great. Thanks for watching.